other teachers and other practices a chance. So with that said, we're going to start with a little guided meditation. So find a comfortable seat. If sitting cross-legged is uncomfortable for you, I suggest you can bring your heels underneath you, or you can take a block and pop it underneath your hips for like a little chair as well. That's a nice way to work. I gave everyone 2 blocks and a strap. And just a little housekeeping as well. If you need to use the restroom throughout class, there is one behind this bookshelf. And then there's some water glasses in the sink there if you need to hydrate. If anyone gets like really hot as well, let me know and I can turn the heat down. All right, so let's go ahead and come to a comfortable seat, close your eyes, and take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Open mouth, side breath out. Just noticing the breath here. Maybe close the mouth, breathe in and out through the nose. Start to become aware of the body. Notice the physical sensations that might be occurring. Notice any sounds that you may hear, the buzz of cars on 58. Notice the sound of your breath. And bring your awareness to sensation. How does the air feel on your skin? How does the mat feel supporting you? And then start to tune inwards. What thoughts are arising? Are you noticing that your attention is wandering off the mat? And yoga and meditation are simply a practice of presence and awareness. So we're remembering how to come back into the present moment regardless of what distractions may arise. Those can be external to us or internal. It's like we're strengthening a muscle. We're strengthening the muscle of presence. And you can use a gentle, friendly reminder if you notice yourself thinking or getting distracted, maybe even saying, thinking to yourself. Or I offer the opportunity to set an intention. So that means picking a word or a mantra, something that you can use as an anchor to pull you back into this moment. And your intention can be perhaps something you want to focus on today. Maybe it's presence or gratitude or mobility, connection. So go ahead and take the next few breaths to consider your intention for this practice, what brought you here on your mat. And for the next bit of time, you've got nowhere else to be, nothing else to do. Simply being here, this best version of yourself. Start to deepen the breath in and out through the nose. Start to engage that deep diaphragmatic breathing, allowing the belly to expand as you inhale And as you exhale, slightly constrict the back of your throat, create an ocean sounding breath. This is called Ujjayi breathing. Imagine like you're trying to fog up a mirror, but keep your mouth closed as you exhale. So deep inhale in through the nose. Exhale through the nose. And this yogic breath, Ujjayi breath, ocean sounding, audible exhale, is a slow, rhythmic breath. Deep belly breaths engaging the diaphragm. And that slight constriction of the throat allows us to actually stimulate our vagus nerve, which we know cranial nerve 10 helps us downregulate the nervous system, that parasympathetic response, rest and recover. Good. Start to bring a little gentle movement here. So if you're not in a cross-leg position, go ahead and cross your legs. Bring your hands onto your knees. You can keep your eyes closed or slowly blink the eyes open. We'll just start with some circles here. Getting in touch with our body, feeling both its bones connect into the mat. Noticing, ooh, if I come over to this left side, it's a little tight. So just bringing awareness into your own individual body, what you're feeling. Good. Go ahead and reverse directions here, just making circles in that opposite side. Maybe lingering anywhere you notice there is some extra tension. Good. And coming to a nice seated position. Go ahead and slowly blink the eyes open if not yet already open. And we'll take some seated cat-cow. So as you inhale, deep breath in, look up, reach the shoulder blades back behind you. And then as you exhale, hug in. So bring the chin towards the chest and tuck the tail. Good. Arch the spine. Move here with your own breath. Inhaling to open up towards the sky. Exhale, hug in. So you can use your hands against those knees as a little leverage, pulling yourself in a little deeper. If you want a deeper variation, you can get those arms involved. So as you exhale, we'll actually bring forearms together, elbows together, palms together. And then as you inhale, open up wide. Good. Exhale, hug in. Inhale, open. Deeper variation here is to bring the hands behind the head. So interlace fingers behind the head. As you exhale, bring those elbows together. Maybe gentle, very light pressure on the back of the head. Inhale, open, elbows open wide, chin lifts up. Take two more here. Any variation that feels good for you. Just starting to open up through the spine, through the chest. Good. Exhale, release. Awesome. We'll take some side body stretches here. So on your next inhale, reach the arms up overhead. And as you exhale, bring your right hand down to the mat. Left hand reaches over. So stretching out through that left side body. If you feel like you're too close to your neighbor, I would scoot up or back on your mat. Nice. Good. Maybe peek up towards the ceiling. This is not about really going deep on the right side. This is about creating length on the left. Imagine creating space between each of the ribs. Good. Inhale, rise back up. And exhale, side body stretch to the opposite side. So left hand connects with the mat. Right hand reaches up and over. Maybe gaze up towards the sky. Extend through the rib cage. Good. Inhale, rise up. And we'll do one breath, one movement. Exhale, side body stretch to the right. Good. Inhale, lift. Exhale to the left. Good. Inhale, lift up. One more time each side. Exhale, over. Creating some movement here, some fluid moving through the spine. Inhale, rise up. This time as you exhale, we're going to twist to the right. So a couple different variations. You can bring right hand behind the back, left hand to the knee. Look over the shoulder. Nice, leveraging against that knee. Take a micro movement here. So as you inhale, grow a little bit taller. And then as you exhale, twist deeper. Good. Inhale, rise back up. Exhale, twist to the left. So now left hand comes behind the back, right hand connects to the knee. As you exhale, look over that left shoulder. Twist everything here, the head, the neck, the eyes. And connect with your breath. So as you inhale, grow taller. And as you exhale, twist deeper. Good. Inhale, rise up. One breath, one movement. Exhale, twist to the right. Good. Inhale, rise up. Exhale to the left. One more time each side. Inhale, lift. Exhale to the right. Inhale, lift. Exhale, left. Good. Inhale, lift and look up. And as you exhale now, just bring those hands out in front of you. Maybe walk them forward here. If it's available to you, you can rest the forehead on the mat. Just opening up through the hips. Good. Inhale, we'll rise back up. We're going to switch the cross of our legs. So whatever that awkward feeling is, where I know you're not used to it, go ahead and switch the cross here. We're going to do some neck rolls. Especially in dentistry, we build up a lot of tightness and tension through our upper back and our neck. So I want you to start just with some small, slow circles. Bring your chin down to your chest, and then start to rotate out to the side. Look up, opposite side, and down. So we're moving really slow through this movement, trying to find our fullest range of motion. If you feel a sticky spot, I want you to stop and kind of hold there. So stretching through the front side of the neck and the back side of the neck. Forward head posture is really common in dentistry, just the nature of the work, looking over into a small field. And because of that, our neck has to do so much work to stabilize. For every inch our head moves forward, there's an added 10 pounds of weight to the neck. So giving your backside of your neck a lot of love here. Go ahead and switch directions. So now circle is opposite direction. You may hear some popping or clicking. That's okay. There's a temptation to move fast through this. So I encourage you to slow it down, smooth out the movement. Again, finding that biggest range of motion. Good. Take a few more rotations here, kind of balance out this side. Awesome. And then when you're ready, come to a nice neutral seat. We'll come to tabletop. So I want you to bring your hands down, knees down, this quadruped position, stacking shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. Then we'll take some cat-cows from this position. So as you inhale, let the tailbone lift, the chin, head lifts, collarbones spread wide. And then as you exhale, hug in, pull belly button in towards chest, engage the core here. Again, move here 2 or 3 rounds at your own pace with your own breath. Getting the neck involved, getting the core involved, and really pressing through the hands. Imagine like you're pressing the ground away from you. Good. And coming to a nice neutral tabletop here. We're going to warm up through the wrists, which also get a lot of attention in dentistry. If it's available to you, I want you to walk your hands out towards the side, fingertips pointing the side of the mat, and then really nice, gentle rock side to side here. So everything we're going to do today is very beginner friendly, more so about improving our mobility and flexibility, and then strengthening some of those areas that can really help with our posture and our core stability. If it's available, you can also walk the hands so the fingertips are pointing all the way back. If this is uncomfortable for your wrist, I want you to stay in pointing towards the side. If it's available, fingertips are pointing towards the legs, and then very gentle rock front and back. You may feel a nice deep stretch through the forearms. Good. And then we'll walk the hands back out, come to a neutral position here, hands facing forward, and then flip the hands over. So now palms are facing towards the top of the mat. And you have a lot of control here. So the more weight you bring in towards the legs, the less weight in the hands. So if this is too intense for you, I want you to come back into the body. If you want more intensity, you can walk those hands out in front of you. And another good modification then is to just kind of hold the hand out in front of you like this. So learning how to move. We started with moving our spine in 6 different directions. And now we're moving our wrist around here. Good. Okay, now we're going to come to a variation of toes pose. So I want you to flip your toes under here and then come back onto the heels. So this is what it's going to look like from the back. Sorry if my feet look dirty. So your toes are flipped under. This might be kind of intense if you wear tight or uncomfortable shoes because our toes don't really get stretched out a lot. We're going to take the hands and interlace the fingers and then just do a little figure 4 movement. Okay, so these are all really great exercises to help with that hand fatigue, wrist fatigue that we can feel in dentistry. And then you may be feeling an intense stretch through those toes as well. So if that is becoming too intense for you, you can just flip the toes out and come down onto the tops of the feet. Good. All right, and then we're just going to shake the hands out, give them a nice little wave. Awesome. You can even spark the fingers, some jazz hands. Good. And then flip the toes out from underneath you, come back onto the hands, and you can tap out the feet if that was feeling intense for you. Nice. Awesome. All right, now let's do some mobility through the shoulders here. So we'll just start with a little scapular push-up. So I want you to, see if I can show you better like this. I want you to imagine like you're dropping the shoulder blades together behind the back, but keep the arms locked out. So shoulder blades coming together, let the chest come through. And then I want you to push the shoulder blades away from each other. Imagine like you're extending here. So drop down into the shoulders and then press up. So we want to keep a neutral spine here. This isn't really a cat-cow motion. So hug the belly button into the core. And it's really just movement coming from the shoulders. Our serratus anterior is going to help us stabilize that shoulder, and it can also help with our posture here. This tends to be one of the muscles that gets weaker when we can't support our own posture when we have a difficult job like dentistry. So you may feel a little bit of a burn start to build up as you just move through this scapular push-up. Again, keeping the whole body stable. The only thing moving here is the shoulders. See if you can smooth out the movement a little. If you want more intensity, you can always come back into a plank and practice from here. But since we're just getting warmed up, that is yogi's choice. Again, we'll take 1 or 2 more rounds and then come to a nice neutral tabletop position. Bring the right arm up into the sky, open and twist. Good. And then as you exhale, we're going to thread that right arm under the left side, thread the needle, rest on the right side of the head. Good. And your right outer edge of the shoulders resting on the mat, Any option with the left hand. You can reach left hand out in front of you. You can hook it behind the back. And slowly release, and we'll come out the way we came in. So open that right arm up to the sky, and now we're going to add some circles in. So you can stay in this tabletop position and just make nice big broad circles here with your right arm. If you need a little bit more stability, you can bring that right foot back behind you, coming into like a modified side plank. Good. And then circles in the opposite direction. You might hear a little snap, crackle, pop, going slow, working within your own range of motion. Good. And then here, I want you to meet me with your arm extended towards the top of the room and just stretch out through that right side body. Good. Go ahead and release and come back to tabletop. So drop right hand and right knee down to the mat. Left side. Inhale, left arm up to the sky, twist open, and then as you exhale, thread that left arm under, resting on the left side of the head. Maybe extending that right arm out in front of you or wrapping it behind the back. Again, you have lots of control here in this pose. If you want more intensity in that stretch on the shoulder, bring more weight forward into the upper body. If you're feeling like that's too intense, bring weight back into the legs. Good. Go ahead and release from here. So inhale that left arm up to the sky and then making circles here with that left arm. If you need a little bit more stability, you can step that left foot out to the side, coming to a modified side plank. Good. So nice, gentle, slow movement. You may notice some differences on the left and the right side. Go ahead and switch directions. So a lot of what I prescribe specifically for dentists with musculoskeletal disorders is related to more of this mobility than flexibility. I think this is more important for career longevity and preventing chronic pain. Although this may feel simple, like you're not really doing a whole ton, this is so good for our joints and everything that is supporting our muscles. Go ahead and relax here and extend that left arm out all the way. Take a nice deep side body stretch and then release. Come back to tabletop. Good. All right, so a little bit of core activation. We're going to come into what's known as like a bear pose or floating quadruped pose. I want you to flip your toes under, press your hands into the mat, brace your core, so hug belly button in towards spine, activate that transverse abdominis, and then lift the knees. So you're just supported with the hands and the toes. Good. Try to keep a nice neutral spine here. So don't let the tailbone flare out. Slight tuck of the tail. Nice neutral spine, and just hold here. Maybe shifting a little bit more weight into the hands, into the shoulders, press the ground away from you, and then go ahead and release. Drop back down onto the knees. So really gentle core activation. This is so important for our posture here. Press through the hands. We'll lift back up. We're going to hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop down. Nice. We'll take 1/3 and final round here, holding for 5. So go ahead and lift up. Squeeze for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Take a moment to stretch out that core body. Lift up, look up. Exhale, hug in. Good. Come to a neutral spine. Bird dog. So neutral tabletop position, reach your right hand out in front of you, left heel back behind you. And again, when I say neutral spine, I don't want that pelvis to be, the lower back to be flared out or in. We don't want it caving. So hugging a nice flat spine here. As you exhale, hug and bring elbow to knee under the body. Inhale, extend. Now this is all about mind-muscle connection. So I want you to imagine like you're moving through honey or cement. Exhale, crunch in. Try to create that internal resistance. Inhale, extend. We're going for one final crunch here. Exhale, squeeze it all together. Inhale, extend. And then go ahead and drop it down. Switch sides. Bird dog on the left side. Probably didn't think you were going to do much core work here, but surprise, surprise. Left hand reaches out, right foot back behind you. Find stable balance on the left and the right side, neutral spine. As you exhale, hug in. So bring elbow to knee, squeeze. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. Good. Inhale, lengthen. This is all about core stabilization. Last crunch here. Squeeze it all in. Create that mind-muscle connection. Good. Extend it out. And release it down. Good. Take one more cat-cow here. Just stretching out through the core. Good. And then come to downward facing dog. Flip those toes under. Let the hips come high. Maybe pedaling out the heels. Good. Welcome in. There's a mat set up for you right there. So downward facing dog, if this is your first time practicing down dog, I'm going to give you a couple pointers here. This should look like an inverted V shape. It's okay if the knees are bent and if your heels are not touching the mat. Most important is to keep the upper body as long as possible. So I want you to imagine from your hands all the way up to your tailbone, your one long line, as though your chest is coming towards the thighs. And then if you have room or more space to grow here, maybe pedal out the heels, bending one knee and then the other. If it's available to you, legs can be straight, tailbone reaching high into the sky, heels reaching down towards the mat. Good. Make sure to spread the fingertips nice and wide. If you're feeling like there is any pain or too much pressure on your wrist, I suggest rotating the hands slightly outward so your pointer fingers are parallel to each other. Good. And if this is uncomfortable for any part of your body, modification option here is just to drop down onto the knees and take what's called a puppy pose. So if you want to take a look at me, this is what a puppy pose looks like. It's keeping that upper body nice and long, but hips are stacked over knees. So taking some of that impact out of the wrist. Good. On your next inhale, gaze forward. And as you exhale, step to the top of your mat. Coming up for ragdoll. Keep the feet about hips width apart. Grab opposite elbow with opposite hand. Generous bend through the knees. So I want you to bend your knees deep enough that your chest is resting on your thighs. Relax the head and the neck completely. You can let your head nod yes and no. An option here to sway side to side, so allowing the upper body to sway side to side, almost like a spoon scooping a peanut butter jar. You may notice as we spend more time in this pose, you can straighten the legs a little bit more. See if you can relax the head completely. If you're holding any last tension through the neck. And then start to bring awareness into our feet. So notice what it feels like to lift all 10 toes and then place them down with intention, spreading the toes wide, maybe rocking the weight front and back. Good. From here, we're going to drop the hands down to the mat, and we'll take a little twist. So keep left hand grounded down. If you need to use a block here, you can go ahead and support left hand with a block. Right hand's going to open up to the sky. Twist open. Good. Exhale, release. We'll go ahead and switch sides. So now right hand's grounding down to the mat or a block, left hand coming high. Good. Exhale, release. And one more time on each side, moving here at your own pace. You may notice here one knee bends, the other leg straightens. That's okay. Go ahead and switch sides. Last side here. And then bring both hands down to the mat, forward fold. Inhale, start to roll up one vertebra at a time. Last thing to come up here is the head. Imagine like you're rolling up against a wall. Give the shoulders a nice big roll back. Awesome. Come to the top of your mat. Bring the feet together. We want big toes to touch, slight gap between the heels so that outside edges of the feet are parallel. As you inhale, we're going to reach those arms up overhead, mountain pose. Exhale, press the hands together, come through heart center, and start to fold, bend the knees, lead with the chest, forward fold. Good. Inhale, halfway lift. Crown of the head reaches forward, hands come onto the shins. Imagine like you've got a flat back you can support a cup of coffee with. Good. Exhale, forward fold, hands come behind the ankles. We'll take one more round just like this. Inhale, rise all the way up. This time leading up, reach up, look up. Hands come into heart center, hands into prayer. Take a breath here. Maybe close the eyes. We're going to take one sun salutation. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Look up, reach up. Exhale, forward fold, lead with the chest. Inhale, halfway lift, crown of the head reaches forward. Exhale, plant the hands down and step back into a high plank. Shoulders stacked over wrists, heels stacked over toes. Press the ground away from you, engage the core. As you exhale, we'll lower down into low plank. Option here to modify, drop down onto the knees. Chaturanga, send those elbows straight back behind you. And almost like a tricep push-up, we're going to hover here. And then exhale, release all the way down, come onto the belly. Inhale for cobra. So really gentle, easy back bend. Imagine the elbows coming straight back behind you. Lift the chest up. If it's available and you want a deeper back bend, you can take upward facing dog. So this is straightening the arms and bringing all of the weight onto the tops of the feet so the hips and the thighs are hovering. So it's a more intense back bend here. Good. As you exhale, flip the toes under and let the hips come high, downward facing dog. Again, modifications for both up dog and down dog exist. I know this can be a lot of pressure on your wrists, especially if you're not used to it. My biggest piece of advice would be to keep the fingers spread wide and press the entirety of the palm into the mat so you're not doming the palm up at all. Good. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, feet to hands. Come to the top of your mat. Good. Inhale, halfway lift, crown of the head reaches forward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise, extended mountain, reach up, look up. Exhale, hands into heart center. You just did your first sun A for those of you who are new to yoga. Awesome. We're going to take one more vinyasa down and then move through some warrior poses. So inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, forward fold. Feel free to move at your own pace if you know where you're going. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga. So plant those hands down, step back into your high plank, lower down through chaturanga, elbows close to body, low plank. Inhale through cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Go ahead and drop down onto the knees. You can meet me in child's pose. A couple variations here. You can bring knees wide, big toes together. Sit the hips back onto the heels. Reach the hands out in front of you, resting on the forehead. If you need a little bit more space here, you can use a block underneath the heels. If this is too intense on the hips, you can also bring knees together for a different version of child's pose. Good. Take a few deep breaths here, just reconnecting with your breath. And then on your next inhale, let's rise back up. Step your right foot between the hands, come to a low lunge. If this is uncomfortable on your knees at all, you can roll the edge of the mat in, give your left knee a little extra support. You can bring hands onto the hips or stabilizing right behind the knee, and then take a moment to shift the hips forward. So we're opening up through that left hip flexor. We want front knee stacked over front ankle. Good. If you want more advanced option, you can reach those arms up overhead. Lifting here, shifting that weight forward, grounding down through the right foot. Add a little easy twist. So bring your right hand behind the back. Just reach it straight back behind you. Left hand is going to reach forward. Try to look over the right shoulder, right fingertips. And we'll come to another version of a twist. Bring left hand down to the mat, right hand up to the sky. So pressing down through that left hand, open up through the right shoulder. Now as you exhale, bring both hands down to the mat, half split. You're going to start to shift the hips back and straighten out through the right leg. If you need, you can use a block on underneath either hand as you fold forward, or hands can come down to the mat. If it's available and you want to go for a full side split here, yogi's choice, or you can sit back onto that left heel. Good. Opening up through the hamstring. And slowly rising back up. Bring both hands to the top of the mat. If you have your mat rolled in, go ahead and unroll that. And we'll switch sides. So just bring that right leg back, drop down onto the knees, tabletop, step left foot forward. Low lunge on the left side. Again, if you need a little support under the right knee, roll your mat in. Take a minute to get stabilized on the left and the right side. Our legs are almost on railroad tracks here. Hands can come above the knee or onto the hips, and then start to shift the hips forward. So notice what it feels like to open up through that right hip flexor. See if you can create a little bit more space here. Nice. Option to bring arms overhead. Maybe look up at a slight back bend if that's available. Easy twist. Bring the left hand behind you. Gaze over the left fingertips. Right hand reaches towards the front of the room. Imagine like I'm pulling your fingertips forward. And twist everything, the head, the neck, the eyes. Dragonfly twist. Bring that right hand down to the top of the mat. Left hand opens up to the sky. Twisting open here. Good. Half split. Bring both hands down to the mat. Start to shift the hips back as you extend through that left leg. You can keep hips stacked over the right knee, or if it's available and you want something a little deeper, you can sit all the way back onto that right heel. Just releasing through the backside of the left leg. Again, you can use blocks for extra support. Connecting with that breath. In through the nose, out through the nose. Good. On your next inhale, we'll rise back up. Start to come back to the top of the mat. You can unroll the side if you have that rolled under, and then come to downward facing dog. So just step that left foot back, maybe pedal out heels, hit the reset button. Good. On your next inhale, bring your right heel high, three-legged downward facing dog. Just extending that right leg back. And then as you exhale, bring it forward, step the right foot between the hands, and we're going to come to warrior one. Now, modification here is just to come back to that low lunge that we practiced before. Fullest expression is going to be lifting up that back knee. I prefer to have my back foot out at a 45-degree angle, and you may need to give yourself a little bit more space here. Allow your legs to be long, front knee stacked over ankle, and then imagine you've got two headlights on your hips that are pointed, shining towards the front of the room. Good. This is called warrior one. And notice here, if you squeeze your left glute, do you feel some release through that left hip flexor? Can you drop the shoulders down the back? Good. We'll open into warrior two from here. So arms are going to now reach front to back and slightly adjust the feet. So now your back foot is pointing towards the side of the mat. Front heel is in line with the back arch, and front knee is in line with the heel. Beautiful. Look out over those front fingertips. As you inhale, I want you to shift the torso forward. Flip your front palm. Exhale, reverse warrior. So reach that left hand up and back. Create space through the right side body. If you want, you can bring left hand to the back leg or the lower back. Beautiful. Inhale, come back through to center. Extended side angle. Exhale, reach out in front of you. Bring that right forearm to thigh. Left hand can reach up to the sky. Now, a couple different variations here. If you have a block available and you want to deepen this pose, you can drop your right hand down to a block. Or you can extend the right hand down to the mat. Option with your left hand, you can keep it reaching up to the sky or reach it towards the front of the room so bicep comes by the ear. Good. On your next inhale, I want you to rise back up, warrior two. You guys are doing great. Exhale, cartwheel hands down to the mat. Frame your right foot here and step right foot back. You can come right into downward facing dog or child's pose, or if you want a little extra energy, you can flow through a vinyasa coming through your chaturanga, upward facing dog, and downward facing dog. I'm just going to repeat this sequence on the left side and then start to wind down. So on your next inhale, come to downward facing dog and inhale left heel high, three-leg down dog. As you exhale, step the left foot between the hands, warrior one on the left side. All the same cues here. Option to bring that left heel out to a 45-degree angle. Right heel out to a 45-degree angle. Left knee stacked over ankle. Hips squared forward, arms reaching up. Relax the shoulders down the back. Good. See if you can squeeze that right glute a little bit to activate through the hip flexor. Notice what it feels like. Maybe lift all 10 toes and then bring the toes down. Bring some awareness through the foot. Good. Open into warrior two. So now reach arms front to back. Slightly adjust your foot positioning here. Front heel in line with back arch. Beautiful. Look out over the front fingertips. As you inhale, reach forward, flip the front palm. Exhale, reverse warrior. So reach up and back behind you, creating space through that left side body. Beautiful. Inhale, come back through to center. Exhale, side angle or extended side angle. Yogi's choice here. Several different options. You can support that left elbow with your thigh, a block, or bring hand down to the mat. You can extend the right arm up to the sky or towards the front of the room, creating length through that right side body, opening up through the left hip. Good. Inhale, rise back up. Exhale, hands cartwheel down to the mat. Step the left foot back, come into downward facing dog or child's pose, optional vinyasa if you'd like a little bit more power here. Good. Letting the breath reset. On your next inhale, I want you to roll forward into a high plank. Let's reconnect to that core that we fired up at the beginning of class. So imagine hugging belly button in towards spine. Reconnect to the shoulders, just like we did in our scapular push-ups. And we're taking a nice slow chaturanga coming all the way down onto our belly. So as slow as you can go, see if you can bend the elbows, start to lower down, keeping the body nice and long, like a plank, coming all the way down onto the belly. Nice. You can make a little pillow with your hands and then rest on your left cheek. Good. Just a little bit more core work here before we stretch it out. We're coming to one of my favorite poses for dentists and for anyone wanting to improve their posture. So when you're ready, I want you to take a deep breath in, bring the arms by your sides, forehead facing down towards the mat, and lift up. So I want you to reach the shoulders back behind you into a cobra pose or a locust pose. Palms are facing down towards the mat. You can keep the feet pressed in to the ground. I want you to try to release the glutes. So instead of squeezing the glutes here, more of this work is coming from the paraspinal muscles. And keep the neck long, so your gaze is just on the front edge of your mat. And as though you're tucking your chin in towards your chest, lengthening the back. Good. Exhale, go ahead and release. You can make a pillow again and rest on the opposite side. Good job. I'll take one more round. Inhale, lift up. Arms come by your sides, chest lift. This time you can get the legs involved here. Float the legs, press the pelvis into the mat. If you want a more advanced option, you can reach those hands out in front of you. You can even hold your block. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And relax it all down. Good job. All right, we're going to stretch out our chest from here. Take broken wing pose on the right side. This one is tougher to get into. So if you've never practiced it before, I want you to take a look at me. I'm going to extend my right arm out to the side and press my left hand underneath my left shoulder and start to roll over my right shoulder. Notice here my left foot is just tucking behind my right knee, and then my head is just resting on the ground. You can also use a pillow here. A block as a pillow. This is all about opening through that right chest and right shoulder. Oftentimes from the forward head posture that we have, from hunched shoulders, our chest becomes the muscles become really short and tight. So this is such a good pose to help release those short, tight muscles, help resolve any muscle imbalances that we might have. Good. And we'll slowly release, come back onto the belly, and we'll switch sides. So now left hand is reaching out to the side, right hand is coming right underneath the right shoulder, rolling over the left side of the body. Right foot just tucks behind the knee. And based on which side you're dominant on, left or right, you're getting really close with your buddies. I like it. You may notice one side is different than the other. Awesome job. Slowly go ahead and release. And come from your right into Sphinx pose, bringing forearms pressed into the mat. One little last back bend here. So imagine the hands are energetically coming in towards the center line. Look up, lift up, create space through the collarbone. As you exhale, child's pose. This time I want you to bring the knees together as you let the chest come on top of the thighs. You can bring arms to your side, maybe reaching for the heels, stretching out those paraspinal muscles. Again, slowly rise up and we'll come onto our back. So you just slide those legs out from underneath you. Center yourself on your mat before you lay down. Bring the knees into the chest. And you can start to make some circles on the lower back. If you have anything on the back of your head you need to adjust so it's flat against the mat, do that now. We're going to spend these last few minutes in class on our back. If you're making circles here, go ahead and switch direction. Nice little spinal massage. Good. Go ahead and drop the feet down to the mat, bridge pose.